This is 1000% the soft launch of my reselling business. Oh boy. I just pulled up to a local antique mall-ish. It's called Vintage Inspired, so they allow reproductions, I think, from what I gather. I'm on like a reconnaissance mission. I'm partially doing research. I'm partially sourcing, perhaps. Am I soft launching a reselling business? Maybe. I don't really know. Let's go inside and find out. It is a super rainy day here. We're getting like the remnants of Debbie, the hurricane that came up the East Coast. And when I got in the car, I'm by myself, by the way, no children. When I got in the car, Google Maps like warned me that my route might be impacted by Debbie, and that almost stopped me in my tracks, but I didn't let it. I got in the car anyway, and it looks like it's about to be torrential downpour again, so what better place to get stuck in the rain than a giant antique mall? Let's go. This is 1000% the soft launch of my reselling business. Oh boy. It's gonna have to be, because otherwise my husband won't let me leave the house ever again. Okay, we're home. I have fed my baby, he's asleep. I got a bite to eat. And I'm now so excited to unpack all of this stuff and analyze what I got. While I was there, I ultimately did like 2 rounds of shopping. I got to a point where my basket was full, it was heavy, and I didn't want anything to get damaged. So I, set that down at the front and got a fresh basket. So she did ask me when I set it down at the beginning, like, can I start wrapping this? Are you good to go on everything that you've got in here? And I said yes, which was true. I like quickly looked again, felt good with everything I got. And then went out around and did a whole nother round. Like I filled my cart within probably a third of the store. Wow. I feel like this camera is not straight. 1 second. Maybe that's better. My tactics were as follows. 1, priority above all else was to get out of the house by myself and enjoy it. Success to the max. Priority 2 was like a little reconnaissance, right? Like, do I want to resell? Like, the answer is yes. I'm very interested in kind of sourcing, reselling, figuring out a way to do that makes sense for me and my life. So I was there from 2 perspectives. Like, is this a place I could source from, or is this a place that I would sell? Because this is like a traditional antique mall in the sense that you could have booth space, fill it up, keep it fresh, keep your inventory moving. And I guess number 3, I was like kind of doing research, like what kind of stuff is on the shelves, how is it priced, all that sort of stuff. And ultimately it felt like a better sourcing location for me than selling. Not because I couldn't sell there, but more so because the idea of eliminating that as a sourcing option for me felt scary, at least to start, because I live in Vermont. It's not as if we have like tons of Goodwills and incredible thrift stores and all that sort of stuff. We absolutely do have amazing barns and antique stores and all that sort of stuff, but it takes a little bit more effort and wherewithal to find this inventory, especially at a margin that would make sense, I think, and that aligns with my style, right? So knowing sourcing will be challenging and not something I can just like go out every day and dedicate my life to. I didn't want to eliminate this location as a place I could source from. And I am gathering, which makes perfect sense, from all the reseller vlogs and kind of antique booth vendor vlogs and things like that that I watch. You do not buy from someone else's booth and resell it in yours. Like, no, that doesn't make sense. And, you know, both from the perspective of respecting your other vendors in that venue, but also from the perspective of expecting you'd get a margin. Like, they would undervalue it so much that you can just move it over to your booth and double your price. Probably not. Or ideally even have a bigger margin than that. All to say, I think I'm going to start on Etsy relatively immediately. So this is the soft launch of my Etsy reclaimed home decor shop. It will be called Defining Ordinary or Defining Ordinary Designs, something in that realm. And I am incredibly intimidated by shipping, but we will figure that out. And I did have that in mind a little bit as I was going. Yeah, I'm really excited. And I think in the bigger picture, right, less immediately, it's currently August. I'd love to figure out if there's maybe like a pop-up kind of in-person locations across the fall and kind of holiday shopping season that I could potentially kind of do something kind of low risk and small, where I don't need a huge amount of inventory or kind of a tent or anything like that to navigate. Or also think ahead to next spring, where I know we have some kind of local antique market things, especially in southern Vermont. I know there's a big one called like Vintage Days of Vermont or something. It's like this whole weekend. I think it happens twice a year, including the spring. So I wonder if there's a shot that I could be a vendor at that and just kind of plan ahead, building inventory towards that. We're getting ambitious, as we always do. So let's just start with what I found, which we're going to start with this. I saw these and like absolutely could not leave them there. I've never seen anything like this. It's enamel. It says it's an enamel mold, and it feels like metal. Metal covered in enamel, and it definitely has some wear. There's also like a hole here as if maybe this had been hung, because it's only on one side. But this would be stunning as a planter. This would be amazing texture on a bookshelf. Like, are you kidding? I'm most definitely going to keep one of these. I did get 2. This one's more of an oval shape and more of a circle. This one's a little bit whiter. This one and is a little darker in shading, probably because of the extra grooves with the oval. But all to say, these are both absolutely stunning. I got these for $8. I did zero research while I was shopping on what things cost, and I had no exposure to enamelware, but I had a sense of value for some of the things. I had a rule for myself that like I only wanted to do kind of no-brainer purchases. So meaning I would be happy to have it in my own house if it weren't to sell. The price point didn't feel super risky. meaning like if would I keep this in my own house for $8? 1000%. So had that in mind as I was going. There were a lot of things that interested me but didn't quite feel like perfectly my style, or like I liked the idea of like finding it a home, but it wasn't going to be my home. And especially with those things, I hesitated a lot more because I wasn't as sure what the margin or kind of price point would be that I could expect. And I did take pictures and videos, like a lot of footage of things that I didn't buy, more so than the things I ended up buying, I think, partially because they were still beautiful things that I wanted to kind of capture, but also because it will make it easy for me to maybe go do some research and see if there's anything I should have gotten or ultimately makes sense to go back and try to pick up. Next, this is vintage kind of block print linen. I think it's a cotton, not a linen, but linens in general. This reminds me so much of something my mother-in-law has, so I'm not sure these colors are my style, but in general felt like something I could absolutely see in my mother-in-law's collection. But also like block print in general, vintage linens in general. Did I open it and expect it for quality? No, I did not. And are there immediately like black marks on it? Yes, there are. But I assume it's like a tablecloth, which is what I expected. Oh, wow. Well, I wonder if someone kind of used this on like a painting table or something, because there's like some staining underneath. Regardless, I think it's really pretty. Could easily be used to like reclaim for napkins or something, and honestly maybe something I would do, because then I could cut around the more dramatic spots, such as this one, which is definitely like pen and paint. So this one is more of a project than I would have expected, and the price tag was removed, so I actually don't even remember how much this was. I know my total, oh, I did get a receipt. I'll have to check the receipt and see if it's itemized. Oh, okay. A lot of this stuff is wrapped, so I might do a pause to unwrap stuff so you don't have to like listen to that. But this one I picked up, I almost put back, and then I like absolutely could not leave it. I think it was only $8. Again, tag was removed. This is like a needlepoint or a cross stitch, I don't know which one, double-sided pillow. One side is this beautiful barn scene with like a water, what are those called? I want to say windmill, but it's not. It's one of those kind of along a river. It's got the water thing. This side is more of a lighthouse scene. Absolutely stunning colors, like truly could not leave this behind, even though it's kind of an unusual size. But picturing this, it's not unusual, but it's small. Picturing this kind of on an accent chair, or, you know, on a bench, like it's beautiful. I could not leave that. Next up is this art. This one is painted, signed on the bottom. This one was $10. It is a barn, a winter scene, which felt right, kind of going into the season we're about to kind of enter. Totally giftable size, but also even more importantly, I am always thinking about gallery walls and shelf styling. Like those are kind of my cup of tea when it comes to decorating. Is kind of creating eclectic moments within something that feels kind of contemporary or more modern. Or like, you know, like minimal. Those words don't make sense the way I just used them. I like my house to feel kind of minimal and classic, but I also love color and pops of unexpected things. So gallery walls are a way I do that. Shelf styling is a way I do that. Surfaces, I don't have many of, especially with toddler and baby running around, but where I can do kind of shelf and or surface styling, even like above this hutch, it's nice to have variety in size and texture and height. This is a perfect example of something you can lean in the back of a shelf to create any of those things. Okay, and easy to ship. Oh yeah, okay. Here's a perfect example of like one of my early purchases. This was all the stuff in my first round that she packed while I continued shopping. This is a beautiful set of 4 kind of trinket dishes. It is made in England by Johnson Bros. Dishwasher safe ironstone. So it can't be too old if it says dishwasher safe on it, but I am a sucker for white and blue. And the size of these, the fact that they are more of a bowl than a plate appealed to me. And I intend to kind of break them up and you sell them as, individual trinket dishes. Next, we've got this brass wall hanging and candlestick holder. There was only one of these. I would have gotten a pair if there was, but again, a perfect kind of gallery wall addition with or without a candle to add texture, fill an unusual size space. And of course, with a candle, you then have an opportunity for color and height. This one does have some old wax in it, so I might need to kind of heat that up to get it out. But very pretty. Something I'll do a little research on to see, but there's no marking. I can tell there used to be some sort of label or tag kind of sticker here, but can't see what it is anymore. Next up, oh, okay. Another that I could not leave behind. I will be saving all of this paper, and if you ever were to buy from me, you will absolutely see this paper helping ship your items. This color purple is stunning, and the shape of this, again, height, depth, texture on a shelf. It's got this kind of very organic neck here, plus the 2 little handles. This is one that's going to be really hard for me to let go of. I did get 2 books, partially because this is something I, again, like to use in styling for myself, and the top 2 shelves of my kind of built-ins, I currently have book stacks where I have been looking for more kind of cloth bound to kind of balance out and make sure they both feel even and similar colors, that sort of thing. This is one of those colors that I have on one side and kind of wish I had on the other. And it says The Vermont Story by Earl Newton. It's got a cute Adirondack chair on the front. The only thing I don't love is they, like, all of the books they had priced with pencil on the inside. I wish they had done that differently, but I might be able to erase it. And this one's in really good quality. It does have the tiniest little bit of a smell, but I'm not sure how you could avoid that musty smell with really old books like this. And this one is The History of the People of the Green Mountain State from 1749 to 1849. It looks like it was published by the Vermont Historical Society in 1983. So not too terribly old, but really nice quality. Oh, and it was printed in Vermont. That's pretty cool. So again, one I would be tempted to keep, but will probably also use to style and potentially sell. And then this one, again, I bought because of the color. And it's called Rutabaga Stories. Really nice cloth bound, and it has an icon of a rutabaga, which this one was very cute. This one was $7, the green one was $10, and this one is copyright, the latest copyright is 1951. So I assume it was printed in 1951. Wow, there's really cute graphics in this one. I wonder if this is a kid's book because the font is kind of large. Wow. Illustrations and decorations by Maud and Miska Petersham. Those are some names. Okay. So far, I'm feeling proud of myself in saying I was sticking to no regrets purchases because I am excited about everything I'm unwrapping here. I did not get carried away. Oh, okay. This one is so cute. This one, blue and white, again, that influenced me. I'm not like super attached to the illustration. One side is a flower, which is beautiful, and there's like the striping up the handle, some florals along the neck. But then there's like a little kind of A-frame windmill sort of scene, which I'm less attracted to, but I don't really care because you could easily turn it this way on a shelf. Again, really loved the shape and kind of texture and, you know, uniqueness of this, especially thinking about shelf styling. And then a brass planter. It says made in India on the bottom. It absolutely needs to be cleaned. And this one I think was only $8, so I couldn't pass this up. Again, picture on a shelf. Like, so easy. Let's see. I don't know what this is. Oh, I do know what this is. Brass crabs. I got 2 of them. It says sourced locally. It said, I don't really know what that means. Like if it's a local artisan or something. These were $2.50 each. They're flat, like kind of like a brass mold or something. And one of the women I have been binging on YouTube, I think I'll link her below, all put together. She is constantly talking about brass and brass animals, and I was heavily influenced by her. I have never seen kind of this crock type dish in a pink kind of purpley color, inside and out. It says Concord, Charleston, South Carolina. And then it looks like there was another location maybe that's worn away on the marking on the bottom, but this could be a stunning planter. The size, you know, this probably wouldn't be a utensil holder for a kitchen counter because it's a little short for that, but a planter, a dish for pens, markers, if you're an artist, like fill this with paintbrushes. This could have so many uses. And the color is something I was very attracted to. Last thing in this bag. Another color purchase. This one says Emile Henry, $9.95 for this one. France. Emile Henry from France is the marking here. This one's like a very deep green, kind of a beige interior. I don't like beige, honestly. I'm much more of like a white girl, white and blue rather than beige and blue. You know what I mean? But you don't see it. It's very much on the interior. So this as a pop on a shelf, absolutely. Now, next bag. I got 2 of these, 2x3 black and white, very simple rugs. I have something very similar to this in kind of a blue and white that I'm trying to think. I used to have it. I think my sister-in-law is borrowing it in her home right now because we don't really have a place for it in our current house. I think I'm gonna put this right next to my kitchen sink. But like saying that out loud with a toddler, she's just gonna trip on it while she runs past or something. I think these are great for styling if I were to do an in-person kind of booth at, you know, cover a table, create texture, you know, use it in a vignette. These were only $12. Again, they're 2x3, and I will list them as well. These would be so easy to ship because they're not breakable. Next bag. Whoa. Another brass piece, a beautiful kind of vase with a very delicate handle that is stunning. I love the shape. It does technically have like the tiniest little pitcher kind of indent, but I imagine this would be a vase. And this was $12. Okay, this one was the one that as I was checking out, I like hesitated about, but I ultimately went with it. I figured it would be, you know, a nice moment to research milk glass. I've seen milk glass everywhere. This is called an ashtray, which makes perfect sense based on the shape and the size. It has kind of grooves all along the edges and kind of raised polka dots all around the sides. The concept of this as a trinket dish makes perfect sense to me, especially on wooden furniture. I have some wooden furniture, obviously, but for me personally, I have a lot of white furniture. So white is not my go-to when it comes to decorative pieces, but that's just me. And this seemed like it had some margin in it, and it is like a cool textural piece. So $6 for this. Hopefully can find a great home for someone to enjoy this piece, especially right like on top of cloth bound books. Hi, lovely. What else? This one is from Bennington Potters, which is a Vermont-based company in Bennington, Vermont. I love the shape and size of this. It was called a soup mug, I think. Yeah, soup cup. $6 for this. I love the handle. I thought this could make a really nice planter, again, like on a shelf. Of course, it could be used as a soup mug, but it does have the tiniest little chip on the side in the glaze. But as a decorative piece, you would not notice that chip at all, especially if you put a plant in it. More blue. Again, as I mentioned, I much prefer blue and white. Like that is my absolute weakness, but anything that's kind of the speckled blue is also like an immediate eye catcher for me. This one is a lot more of a gray and blue, and I wonder if this used to be some sort of like pot or something, because there's kind of this like hole that almost looks like it had a handle or something. It doesn't go all the way through, but it's kind of got like a little bit of like a, I don't know, looks like it could have been a handle. It wouldn't have been a mug because again, it's just like the one hole. Oh no, it's on both sides. So maybe it was like a hanging concept or had a lid of some kind. Maybe as a canister with like one of those lids that kind of pops on and off but doesn't fully separate. Irrelevant because it doesn't have that piece now, but would be again like perfect size as a pen holder, as a even to hold a candle, like a thick pillar candle, or a planter. Final piece. You know you went crazy when you don't remember what you're unwrapping. I just got home 20 minutes ago. This is stunning. Again, a color that caught my attention very quickly. This is glass and it is marked Cleveland. I need to figure out what that says, but the texture of this is something I have never seen before. So unusual. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like it's covered in a billion tiny little dots, so it's got that texture, but it's also just an incredibly rough surface. Obviously a pedestal, this stunning on a shelf. This color, this like deep green, I've got the book, I've got the vase, and I've got the bowl. All things that I would absolutely use to style, especially something like a built-in where you can kind of have a pop of color on two different shelves and create that sense of balance, but you're doing it in a way that's not identical. I absolutely love that, right? Like, I would much rather have two green similar pieces that are totally different and disparate from each other than two of these vases, if that makes sense. They actually did have an even bigger version of this for $25. This one I think was like 16 or 12, which I probably paid up for. Like, I don't know if there's much margin left in that, especially after shipping, but this one is one I really wanted kind of for myself. Okay, what's your favorite thing? Please tell me. There is so much good stuff here, and seeing this all here, it's making me so happy. I don't regret anything. I definitely still stand by the fact that like I wouldn't really want this in my own house. I think milk glass is probably not for me in terms of what I would seek out sourcing wise moving forward. And same for this kind of block print. I'm a little bummed about how damaged this is, and that's entirely my own fault for not checking. But I do think, you know, this style in different colors is something I am attracted to. And I'm actually surprised there wasn't more art. I was kind of on the lookout for art, loose art, framed, or even just nice frames that I could add art to, again, from the gallery wall angle. So that'll be something I'll be on the lookout for in future trips. It's so fun. Please buy things from me so I can keep doing this, because I definitely can't do this unless I can find these things new homes, because I don't have space or enough disposable income to support this volume of shopping on a regular basis. But I would love to do this for you all the time. Thanks for coming with me. I hope you enjoyed the haul, and check out my shop, which hopefully will exist by the time I post this video, because now I have to go figure out how to take photos and stage all of this stuff and get it listed between toddler and baby schedules and rainy days where the lighting's probably too crappy. Wish me luck. See you next time.